It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm ready to recap and fill you guys in about my first ever corporate stand-up show. So let's go, dude. You know why dilly dally? Well, now I'm dilly dallying. So action. For those of you who don't know about this, in stand-up you're potentially offered different types of shows that are not at like comedy clubs or comedy clubs. It's when you do stuff like colleges and corporate shows. Oftentimes businesses will have like a Christmas party or like a happy hour thing or like an event, like a summer kickoff thing, and they want a comedian to come and perform. And they're notoriously pay pretty well. You have to be pretty like clean, and it's for some it's kind of a money grab. For some it's how they make their living. And I was doing a show in San Francisco, and I had a nice dude come up to me who basically was like, "Yo, would you ever want to do a corporate show?" And I'm like, knowing what I know, I was like, "Yeah, for sure." Yeah. We linked up on Instagram and we started talking about it. And this is back in like December of last year. Started talking about it, and every opportunity like that is presented to me, I'm usually very like bullish on it. I'm very like, I'll believe it when I see it type of attitude. Like, sure, we started talking, we started negotiating. It was, there was a lot of money on the line, and I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna get my hopes up, right? I was just kind of like, let me see what happens. Who knows if it'll work out? Sure enough, it progresses to the point where we sign a contract and the event's gonna be in January. It's like a holiday bash. Bashing holiday time bashing Christmas times thing, and I was supposed to do 45 minutes to an hour and get paid a good amount of money, more. I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna tell you how much, but it's more money than I've made for doing anything in my life, especially comedy. So it was contract was signed, it was happening, and I was like, man, this is absolutely nuts that this is happening, right? Sure enough, a little buddy named Omicron. I don't know if it's an N or an M. Omarion, whoever he is, he decided to rear his ugly little head and fuck everything up for me. So basically, because of the variant in January, they had to cancel the event, and they canceled it in very smartly because they're a business. They did it smart, and they did it to where, it was like if you cancel within 14 days, you have to pay me something, but they canceled it within 18 days, so I got nothing. So it was just basically someone be like, here's a bunch of money to do the thing you love. Oh, sorry, just kidding. Sorry. Maybe it'll happen down the line. That's essentially what it was. And I was like, damn, I was really excited about that. But that money, that opportunity, the experience, I was like, damn. And the dude, again, super nice, nothing against them. It was just, it's like, it makes sense with COVID. And he was like, yeah, we'll be in touch down the line. Maybe we can do something in the summer. And I was like, all right, cool. Again, very much like, man, would have been nice. Good to know that those opportunities are out there. Sure enough, end of June comes along, and homeboy hits me up and he's like, hey, so looks like we're doing a summer kickoff, and you want to try to run this back again? And I'm like, yeah, of course. But back in my head, I'm like, again, until I'm there, I don't know if it's gonna happen. And again, we do the thing where we sign a contract, same dollar amount, basically same deal. They're going to pay for my flight, pay for my hotel, give me, a little kind of per diem to spend per day on food and stuff. And it was all set. And I was just kind of like, all right, here we go again. It's supposed to be on July 14th. And I was like, okay, I was, waiting. And I was like, keep an eye on the news, like what's going on with, COVID, oh, there's monkeypox. Cool. Am I going to get canceled because of a bunch of monkeys? Like, cool. Sure enough, the 14 days hit, and I was like, okay, I'm in the 14-day window, looking good. Even if they cancel, get a little bit of, little small bag, right? Then the week of, I'm like terrified of getting COVID, obviously. I'm like trying to be as careful as I can. Still went out and did shows beforehand. Honestly, pretty stupid of me. But I'm addicted to stand-up, so I can't stop. And then the day comes and I test positive. That's such a... Can you imagine if I test positive? I tested in the morning. I was negative. So I was like, let's go. And it was in Palo Alto, which is a little bit like 40 minutes south of San Francisco. Sure enough, it's happening. And we're off to San Francisco. I get in about 3:30, and it was basically like, all right, drop your stuff off and change, and let's go. The event essentially starts at like 6. So it was like, get there, go to the hotel, write out my set, and like go. And, you know, you hear a lot of horror stories about these types of things where it's like a really bad setting. The people don't care. They're heckling you or whatever. It's just kind of like, my mindset going into it was like, don't expect it to be a great show. And I heard this from another comedian. I'll say Fahim Anwar. I don't know if you know who that guy is. He's a great comedian, but he was on a podcast one time, and he was talking about doing these college shows or corporate shows, and about how they can be really, really bad sometimes. And his motto was basically just like, smile and get your check. You know, because if you're up there like, hey, come on, guys, listen to me. Why is everyone, you know, getting like all worked up, and all of a sudden now you're putting your money in jeopardy, right? So that's all my mindset. It's just like, smile and get your check. Just do your thing. If they want to listen, go ahead. If they don't, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do my job, right? So I get there, and it's actually not a bad setting. It's about they do have it like a private outside area, like a little patio with chairs. It almost looks like a wedding. And I, you know, figure out where I want to be. They have a wireless microphone. It really looks like I'm like giving the best man speech at a wedding. That's what it felt like. Or I was a wedding crasher. That's really kind of what it felt like. Everyone files in, and they have their nice meals, nice glass of wine, and so I'm gonna basically stand in the corner of this patio with a wireless mic and just do stand up. It's very awkward, the idea of it, but I was kind of like, again, smile and get your check. Just like, go have fun, do your thing. If they laugh, they laugh. If they don't, whatever. Do your best, basically. That's my whole thing. Sure enough, the dude gives me an intro, and I go up.
Is here in Will. He's been doing clips online, stand-up comedy. I've seen his show. He did a great job. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And without further ado, my friend Will.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm gonna stand over here. Like I'm in timeout. How are you guys doing? Keep it going for Brandon. He set this whole thing up for me to come here, so make some noise for him.
You know, the first minute or two is a little clunky. I was kind of trying to riff on a few things, and no one really cared. And all of a sudden, I went into my first joke, and the first joke like crushed, as if it were a comedy club. Like it was like a perfect. Like they laughed at all the right moments. The ending was an applause break. It was just like, whoa! And I was kind of off and running.
Flying Spirit Airlines. So that was my flight here. And it was going pretty well. Like just running through my jokes, it was like everything was like working like pretty well. I dipped into the crowd a little bit. That was working. I work out a lot and I still look like this. That laugh pissed me off, the way you laughed at that. I don't like the way you laughed at that. I don't like that your ankles are showing and you're laughing at me like that. That makes me really mad. That's fine. All good.
And it was kind of like rocking and rolling. I did this one joke that has and going into it, by the way, they were not like, you have to be totally clean. The approach is basically like, you know, nothing too crazy. You don't have to censor yourself, but just be cognizant. Don't be too, if you're going to, don't be too raunchy, basically. You know, use your best judgment. And anyone who's seen me live, you know, even if I get raunchy or talk about sex, you know, sexy times, and penis stuff, sexy times, or a sex ed teacher. I'm very silly about it. I'm not like graphic or raunchy. Like I don't ever want to make people feel uncomfortable. So even with a corporate event, I'm like, okay, these are adults. They can handle some sex jokes. I did one joke that has a little bit of a raunchy moment, and people pulled way back.
And I should have read that moment and been, had I been probably a little more experienced with these corporate shows, I would have read that moment and been like, well, better, don't lean too hard into the raunchy stuff. I start to lose them a little bit at about 15, 20 minutes. Then I go into the crowd and I start doing real well with the crowd. The majority of the people there are on the sales team. And I feel like, to me, like, you got to be, for sales, you got to be like kind of like confident, cocky, like, yeah, like I'm a sales guy or a saleswoman. Like, you really got to have a lot of like, you got to sell something. You got to be confident. So I was actually really enjoying like messing with some of the sales guys.
Dudes back there for sure are sales. I can just tell. You just know, man. You can tell. Yo, you guys want more pizza or what's up? Oh, just one? Just one? Alright, I'm gonna go shotgun a White Claw in the parking lot. Sales guys, how am I doing? Nice, bro. Thanks, dude. I like the mustache, man. I've been looking at it this whole time, man. It's a good look, bro. It's a good look. What's your name, boss? You're Henry. Nice to meet you, Henry. Yeah, Henry. Oh my god, your mustache looks better in person. So what's up, Henry? So you're sales, right? Yeah. Nice, dude. What else? I don't really know, because normally when I talk to people in the crowd, it's usually like, what do you do for work? But I know what all of you do for work. So I want to know, like, what you do outside of work, man. Like, I want to know what type of dude you are. Like, what do you get into on the weekends? Boxing. Cool, man. What else do you do?
Soccer.
Well, soccer. Cook? Yeah, bro. One of the girls were like, Henry, hi. Yeah, I do pretty much a little bit of everything, I hunt, I fish, I cook. I chop wood. I can fix a chimney. I'm like, what? There's some chimneys? And Henry, who's your squatting? Who's your boys here? Who do we got? Because I know I'm looking at like the handsome dude with like the black shirt on. What's your name, boss? Back there with the beard.
Daniel.
Daniel, nice to meet you, Daniel. What do you like to do with your life outside of work?
Like to go to the beach.
The beach, cool, man. Yeah, you got a good tan. That makes sense. Yeah. What national?
That's fine.
Oh, you're Brazilian. That's what I said. Okay, cool. I don't want to start with the tan because I don't want to get canceled. That's good. Are you from Brazil, or are you just like your heritage is from Brazil?
No, from Brazil.
You're from Brazil.
Rio.
Rio. Damn, bro, that's sexy. That's awesome. Henry, you're getting outshine right now, bro. It's like easily. I should have started with Daniel. This dude's fishing, and Daniel's like, go, 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 go. All right, man, you got some competition, dude. Daniel's taking the top slot for coolest guy here, I think, so far. That's good, man. What's your favorite? I've never been to Brazil. What's your favorite part about Brazil? The beach. The tan, beach, dancing. Yeah, we've covered that. Yeah, okay, cool. Are you guys borrowing you? Can I borrow your umbrella? I'll be dancing in the sand over here with Henry. He gets sunburned while I get tan. Dan, can I ask you a question about the beach? What do you wear to the beach? It's a good question, right? Because the Brazil, yeah. It's a Speedo. I don't want to say it, but that's what I don't want to say that's what I was picturing, because that's weird, but I'm picturing it like...
And so the way my hour is set up, the way my act is, my headlining set is like, I do all kind of the sexy stuff, the raunchy sex jokes or whatever towards the end. I open pretty clean and I end a little bit dirty. And I started doing a couple of them, and boy, they were pulling way back, like getting a little up there, a little gulpy, a little sweaty, little. It was a little like, uh-oh. And I think someone even said that there's HR that was there, and I was like, I think I made some joke of like, well, they're not my HR, whatever. and it was a little bit like a little touch and go there for a little while. I ended fairly strong, but man, you felt they are not into this part. But sure enough, I finished. I think I did 49 minutes. Got off. They handed me my check, and I literally, there's a Wells Fargo across the street. I in one motion, got off. Stage is a strong word. I ended my corner set. I left my timeout section, and I took my check, and in one swift motion, I just went right to the bank and deposited it. And what's so funny is that this so perfectly sums up who I am as a person. I care so much about I always want to do a good job. Even I used to sell women's shoes at Macy's one holiday season when I was 19. And who gives a shit about that job? But I cared about it. I still wanted to do a good job. I wanted to sell the most, Bandolino shoes I could. And it was the same thing of this type of show where at the end of the day, it's kind of you take these opportunities because of the money in a way, but you also get to practice your art form. So it was funny to have this big check in my hand, and usually I would be or anyone would be yeah, let's go, I got my money, whatever. But there was still a part of me that was kind of disappointed in myself, where I wanted to do a better job. So it was an interesting experience, just being wow, even if you did this for the money, I still care, and I still want to make people happy and do a good job no matter what. So I was kind of I was a little bit disappointed after. I wasn't super pumped. I was just kind of I don't know. It's money clearly doesn't buy happiness, obviously, because I got this big check in my hand and I'm still yeah, but that one part didn't work. That one part, that was weird. People came up to me after. Everyone was so nice. They were so complimentary. They were so they loved it. I really didn't. The only funny thing I heard was the woman came up to me. She was like, "Hi, so I was the HR in there, yeah." And she was like, "Yeah, I was sweating a little bit." And I was like, "Oh, sorry. I hope I didn't. I don't want to make your job difficult, so I hope it was okay." She was like, "Yeah, no, it was." She was a little panicky. She was like, "Yeah, no, it was fine. I was, there was a couple parts that were a little close, but it was okay." I was like, "Oh shit, okay." But again, I was like, "I don't work at this company. I already got my money. Okay, well, whatever." The main thing I learned, honestly, from doing this corporate show is very simple. Less sex jokes, more crowd work. Simple as that. I knew going into it, I think doing crowd work is what I think is very important to do, because they love when you rip on their coworkers, and it's just a fun and I knew that going into it, but I felt myself still wanting to run through my act for some reason. So yeah, I'd say I learned a lot from it, and it's such a good experience for next time to kind of know how to better operate. And it was great, man. It was just it was a great experience. I learned a lot from it, and maybe they'll have me back. And if they have me back, I'll just do 45 minutes of penis and balls jokes. So, because I don't care, dude. So yeah, that was it. I want to say before I get out of here, I think the vlog is going to get a facelift coming soon. I'm doing a big show this week, and I'm going to have kind of well, you know what? I'm going to tease it. I'm just going to tease right there. The vlog, they're going to be changing for the better, and I'm really excited about it. This format's going to be changing, so me talking to a microphone, we may not see it again for a little while. Maybe we will. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. So stay tuned for some vlog updates, and I'm really excited for what's to come. And yeah, really appreciate you guys watching. And first corporate show. Did it. Got the bag. Didn't bomb. On to the next one.
It's funny doing this here, because I actually, before I started doing stand-up full time, I worked for startups and tech companies for a long time. And what was weird is when I worked with these companies, I would stand-up was the real dream of mine, right? That was the goal. And I basically had to work with these companies for the money. So I basically just be tricking them into thinking that I liked the company. I was like, "Yeah, no, this is great." I could do it here for sure if I work at Branch. I'd be like, "Yeah, user engagement is the best. I love it." And And so what happened basically is one day they called me. This is a real story that I've actually never told on like performing before, but they called me up to San Francisco to do like a meet. Like everyone like met in LA up into San Francisco to do like a meeting all together, kind of like this, but not as fun. Without the fucking bros, but it was not as cool as you guys are. And they did like a happy hour thing, and they said, "Oh, hold this night for a happy hour." And I always go do shows every time I go up there in San Francisco, but they didn't know that. So I kept it super on the down low, right? And so they were like, hold the whole night. And so I went there for like an hour and then I left. Because I figured I'd show face for an hour and then leave. I come in the next day, my manager calls me in the room and fires me because she found out I did stand-up. Yeah, and that was the last startup I worked at. So the reason I bring this up is how full circle this moment is right now. Because basically, I got fired from a startup for doing comedy, and now I got hired by a startup to do comedy.
At night.